Okay, it's time to talk about one of the most bewildering topics in Polytopia: push order. Push order refers to the situation where a new unit is created on a tile that already has an existing unit, like when a giant is produced in a city or a Polytaur is enchanted. In such cases, the original unit gets pushed to a new tile. But how do you know which tile the original unit gets pushed to? Is there even a proper way to predict it? In fact, yes there is. Newer Polytopia players may assume that the direction a unit gets pushed is completely random, and I wouldn't blame you for thinking that. But there's actually a complex set of rules that the game considers when determining which direction a unit will go. In this video, we'll look at the rules of push order for units, as well as some situations where your knowledge of push order will help you win games. Really quickly though, I'm going to be using a lot of directional terminology in this video. So here's a key that will tell you which tile I'm referring to when I say north or northeast, for example. What determines the direction in which a unit will get pushed? The answer is the unit's heading. Each unit in Polytopia has a specific parameter attached to it, known as its heading. A unit's heading can be one of 8 different values: the 4 cardinal directions and the 4 intercardinal directions. It's important to note that the direction a unit is facing does not necessarily indicate its heading. By default, a unit's heading points towards the center of the map. However, once the unit moves, attacks, or is attacked, its heading is updated to reflect the direction it moved towards, attacked towards, or was attacked from. For instance, consider this Illyrian warrior. Since it's a new unit, its heading currently points towards the center of the map. If I move the warrior east, its heading is updated to reflect the direction it moved towards, east. If I then enchant the Polytaur the warrior is standing on, the warrior is pushed in the direction of its heading, east. Pretty simple, right? Don't worry though, it gets more complicated. What if the tile to which a unit should be pushed is blocked? Perhaps there's already another unit on it, or it's a mountain tile and you don't have climbing. In this scenario, the game tries to push the unit counterclockwise to its heading. So if the unit's heading is north and the tile to the north is blocked, the unit will be pushed to the northwest. But what if the tile to the northwest is also blocked? In that case, the game checks the tile clockwise to the unit's heading, which is northeast. This counterclockwise-clockwise pattern continues until a viable tile is found. If all the tiles are blocked, the unit is simply destroyed. This mechanic opens up some intriguing tactical opportunities that we'll discuss later. If a unit attacks, its heading will update based on the direction it attacked. In this example here, the Illyrian warrior's heading is southeast, but when it hits the Cymanti warrior west of it, its heading is changed to point west. We see this reflected after killing the Cymanti warrior with an archer and pushing the warrior with the Polytaur. The same is also true for attacking with ranged units, but determining the heading after attacking can be a little more difficult due to some funky angles. If a ranged unit attacks from somewhere in between 2 directions, say north and northwest, the unit will be pushed to the tile that more closely matches the direction it attacked towards. In the case of a tie, the unit will be pushed to the cardinal direction. When one of your units is attacked, its heading will also change to reflect that. If the unit is hit from the north, its heading will be changed to north. In this example here, we see that an Illyrian Polytaur moves south, so its heading is changed to south. It then gets hit by the Phyci on the village, which changes its heading to west, and then we're able to push the Polytaur west. It's worth noting that the same rules also apply for units hit by ranged attacks at weird angles. What happens if you push an enemy unit that moved into your city by getting a giant? It's actually very simple. The unit is pushed in the opposite direction it came from. In this example, the Cymanti swordsman sieges the Barter city by moving east, so its heading is updated to reflect that. The Barter player then pushes the swordsman by leveling up their city and getting a giant. This forces the swordsman in the opposite direction of its heading, west, and its heading is updated to reflect that. So, what are some cases where your knowledge of push order can turn the tide of a battle in your favor? Well, there are plenty of examples. The most important thing you need to remember is that a unit can still move or attack normally after being pushed. With this knowledge, you can inflict some devastating blows against your opponent. This Qin-Chi catapult here looks completely safe from this enemy Qin-Chi swordsman without roads. But it doesn't matter because the swordsman can be pushed, and then move and kill the catapult. What if you need to get a juicy knight chain on your opponent's catapult line, but the catapults are 8 tiles away from your knight? You and I both know from our movement guide video that knights can move a maximum of 6 tiles. But we can increase this number by giant pushing the knight forward by a tile, and then roading it the rest of the way. There's another stellar use of push mechanics I want to tell you about. You remember how I said if a unit has no tile it can be pushed to, the unit gets destroyed? Well, in a pinch this can be used to eviscerate enemy giants that get a little too greedy on sieges. All you need to do is surround the city that's being sieged with units, upgrade the city and get a giant, and presto, the enemy giant is destroyed. In the competitive Polytopia community, this is referred to as giant poofing or a Houdini. and it can completely shift the balance of power in a game. Another thing, if you're playing as Illyrion, the number of ways you can mess with your opponent increase dramatically thanks to their access to Polytaurs. Some of the plays you can make are downright disrespectful, like this one here. Using Polytaurs, the Mindbender is simply pushed from tile to tile and bonks the Barter Giant, converting it. One more thing I need to mention is that Cymanti centipedes don't follow the normal rules of push order. They have some very interesting interactions with it that are outside the scope of this video. So if you want to learn more about that, I recommend joining the Polychampions Discord server. I'll include a link to it in the description of this video. It's a great place to learn more about the game. That's all I got for you in this video. You should now realize that push order isn't exactly a random aspect of Polytopia, but rather follows a very intricate formula you can utilize to help yourself win games. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button down below, and subscribe for more Polytopia videos. If you want to support myself and the channel directly, you can become a channel member by hitting the join button down below. I'll see you all in the next video. Have a spectacular day.